Welcome to Wario.
Hello everybody, this is Wario or Andy, and welcome back to a new top 10, or in this case, a top 5. We are here to talk about Wario, the man himself, the man of tomorrow, or whatever you want to call him. Wario, he has grown to become more of his own character inside of this Mario franchise. He has had lots of adventures for himself, and lately, we haven't seen a lot of his gold hunting adventures that we know and love him for. That makes me a little sad, so I'm just hoping for a new Wario Land game or something like that for E3 this year, or maybe another Nintendo Direct later this year, because Wario has had this gold hunting adventure type of game on every console I think now, even on the Wii, so we can only hope. But anyways, through all of these Wario games, Wario Land or Wario World or even Wario Master of Disguise, Wario has, well, gone through lots of transformations throughout these games. I think even more than Mario, actually, so this is gonna be very exciting. We're gonna count down the 5 transformations that I find to be either more fun or the most useful, whatever the ones that I like the most, basically. Let's begin! Flat Wario. This is a transformation that was first introduced in Wario Land 2, and has later also appeared in Wario Land 3 and 4. In this transformation, Wario is basically squeezed flat, like a pancake, like you hear in these cartoons, right? When he's this flat, Wario, well, kind of like most other transformations, he is invulnerable. He's invincible, basically, so touching enemies will KO them. He can move very slowly, he walks very slowly, but when you jump, he is basically light as a paper. He will jump very high and will float very, very slowly downwards. But he will also wiggle from side to side, so it's a bit difficult to control him in the air. But this Wario transformation looks pretty cool, and the fact that you are squeezed flat is a very awesome method to be transformed by, I think. In this transformation, what Wario can do that he otherwise cannot do is enter very thin passages. Now, Wario can normally crawl into thin passages as well, obviously, but that's a bit difficult if you're trying to enter a thin passage that is high up on a wall. This transformation helps Wario solve this little problem. He can jump from very high leaps, basically, because he jumps so high. And this leads to some very clever puzzles. He often has to jump, through very thin passages and avoid falling water that will transform him back to normal. So he needs to enter, thin passages to enter or to find a treasure chest, to find a goal, to find anything really. So this is a real cool transformation, I think. To transform back to normal, you have to, as I said, touch the water. And that is one of the key elements to the puzzles when you are flat Wario, to avoid the falling water. But sometimes you want to touch it. Touch the water. Oh yeah, that's flat Wario. Flaming Wario. This is also a transformation that has been around since Wario Land 2 and also later appeared in Wario Land 3, 4 and Shake It, or the Shake Dimension, depending on where you live in the world. It's got some different names. I think it is Wario Land Shake It in America, Wario Land the Shake Dimension here in Europe, and Wario Land Shake in Japan. I have no idea why, but that's how it is. Anyways, Flaming Wario is very, very interesting and very, very cool, but can also be very hard to master, which again leads to very cool puzzles. When Wario touches a flaming transformation method, he will basically start to burn and will start to run in one direction. You cannot turn around, the only thing you can really do is jump. When Wario touches a wall, he will then turn around to face the other direction, and he will start to take more fire damage. When he then touches the wall a second time, he will then turn around again and start to run the opposite direction again, and when he then touches the wall for a third time, he will be completely surrounded by fire and he will start to walk or whatever he's doing back and forth very, very slowly, and that's when you're able to control him. When Wario is in this state, this very burn-like state, when he's completely, covered in fire, that's when you are able to take advantage of the transformation, because then you're able to break not only enemies but also these special types of fire blocks. So as you can see, this transformation leads to some jumping puzzles where you have to jump and time your jumping to make sure that you hit the correct wall and you're able to jump on the correct platform in order to reach higher places and reach the fire block. This is a very cool transformation because after Wario has done burning, he will go into, well, basically a piece of ash and shake the ash off him and return to normal. So the whole process throughout the whole transformation and how it looks is very cool as well. But also the fact that you cannot control him very much, and the fact that he has, well, different stages, you know, he catches fire more and more, and in the end he's completely covered in fire. And it leads to very cool puzzles, I think. One of the most difficult puzzles when it comes to transformations, I think. But also one of the most fun ones as well. This is a very cool transformation, and it looks cool. It is cool, it plays cool. It's awesome. Cosmic Wario. This is a transformation exclusive to the not-so-familiar game and the not-so-high-rated game Wario Master of Disguise for the Nintendo DS. This is a game that I own, and I have to say the game is very different, but yet similar to other Wario games, or Wario platformers. What makes it different is, well, Wario is on a treasure hunt like normal, and he has transformations like normal, but there's something with the enemies and the music, and yeah, the music especially that makes this game very different. It doesn't feel like that usual type of Wario game, you know. But Cosmic Wario is one of the very first transformations you learn in this game. It basically turns Wario into an astronaut when you draw a circle around his head. This will allow Wario to shoot lasers out of his little laser gun that he's carrying in his hand. Wario will walk very slowly, and he will jump very slow and fall very slow, just like he's on the moon or something. You get the point. It's the reason he's called Astronaut Wario after all. When he's this transformation, he can't take damage by touching enemies, but thanks to his laser gun, you can basically tap on the touchscreen anywhere you want to fire a laser in any direction that you want to shoot. This laser is pretty cool because, well, it covers a long distance, you can touch very rapidly to shoot very fast in any direction you want. So you have a lot of control on the enemies around you and the surroundings around you with this. Not to mention that after upgrading this transformation, the shots will also bounce off the walls, so they're spamming this attack after you get this transformation upgrade. You are very safe, and the lasers aren't the most powerful ones, but at least since you are able to shoot it so rapidly, you're pretty safe as this transformation, and it's very cool that Wario has a weapon, a shooting ranged weapon with this transformation like he usually don't have. A very cool transformation, very sad that it doesn't appear in other Wario games as well, but at the same time it's all pretty cool that it's exclusive to this game. Fat Wario. This is a very cool transformation that has appeared in, again, Wario Land 2, 3 and also 4. This basically turns Wario even fatter than he already is. And this is done when Wario eats either a cake or an apple, which usually is thrown to him by different types of enemies. When Wario turns into fat, or should we say fatter Wario than he already is, he becomes basically immune to everything. He walks around very slowly while I think he's chewing on his food, it looks like it, at least in Wario Land 4. He's chewing on his apple and he walks very slowly, and when he jumps he doesn't jump very high at all, but when he lands, he makes this little earthquake-like thing because of his weight that will cause nearby enemies to fall over. So, yeah, you know, creating an earthquake with his butt. That's basically what's happening. It's very cool, so you have, again, this little control of the surroundings around you. If you see that many enemies around you, you can either just walk into them that will KO them instantly, or you can jump up and, well, make them flinch when you land on the ground and create an earthquake. It's also worth mentioning that when you do this, you're also stunned for a little while. When you land on the ground, you're a little stunned for a little while until that earthquake is, well, over. So what advantages does this Fat Wario transformation have? It basically allows Wario to break very hard blocks that he normally cannot break. Or he can break them with a very charged up ground pound. But usually that is not very easy to perform in the different locations these blocks are located. So this is very neat Fat Wario to do the job. And also, just, you know, Being fat, able to walk through enemies, just walk through everything without having any fear of any danger whatsoever is always a good thing to have. Wario turns into normal after either jumping so many times, walking so long, or touching water. And yeah, this will turn Wario into normal again. When he walks, I'm guessing it's because he runs out or burns off his fat again or something. That's the reason he turns back to normal by that way. Not sure why he turns back to normal by touching water, but, well, that's how it is with all transformations, right? So Fat Wario, it is a very cool transformation because you're basically invulnerable again, and you're also able to destroy things that you cannot usually destroy. So you are kind of just a slower, more powerful version of Wario, which is pretty cool. You cannot use a dash attack though, which is, yeah, but you don't really need it either, because you could just, you know, walk through everything anyways. At number 1, the transformation that I find to be the most awesome one out of them all is Vampire Wario. Now there are 2 different forms of this one. It is one from Wario Land 4 and one from Wario Land 3. The one I like the most is the one from Wario Land 3. The reason for that is, I'll get to that in a second. But basically, Vampire Wario in Wario Land 3 here, when you touch a bat, Wario turns into a vampire. He can walk around, but he cannot dash. He can walk around, he can jump and everything, and he's also immune to enemies. He can walk right through them to defeat them. He cannot take damage that way. But he will return to normal if you touch either light or water. So while you are this vampire state, as I said, you cannot do any specific attack or anything. But what you can do is do what vampires are known for, which is transform into a bat. Doing this will allow Wario to turn into a smaller version of himself, a little bat. And while you are in this stage, you are able to make very small jumps. But the jumps you have, the amount of jumps you have, is infinite. So you can basically fly anywhere you want while you're in this form. And you can also transform back and forth from a vampire into a bat anytime you want, which is really cool. The advantage of being, well, vampire is that you are able to walk around. While you are a bat, you're only able to jump, so you have a bit more of ground control while you're in the vampire state, and more of an aerial control when you're in the bat state. And the bat state, that leads to some very clever puzzles, where you have to avoid light, you know, and fly through very thin passages, so you have to, you know, time your A button press very precisely to, you know, avoid the light. A similar form is seen in Wario Land 4, as I said, but in this game you're only a bat and not a vampire, which is, you know, it gets the job done, but it's not as cool as the vampire form. So the reason this is number 1 is because not only is it useful, but it's very cool as well. The fact that you can transform between a vampire and a bat anytime you want, and you are also immune to enemies, and you can fly anywhere you want. This transformation is the most awesome, and I also think the most useful out of them all in the game. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, why not drop a like rating on this video right here. And you can also check the description to vote for the next top 5. The next one will be Zelda related, because it's been a while since I've done a Zelda video. Anyways, I want to thank you so much for watching this video, subscribe if you haven't done so, and I will see you all on my next video.
I'm a Wario. I'm gonna win.